Hi guys, so what turned out as a bit of fun, making this channel just as a way of keeping busy during the lockdowns, has obviously now turned into, well, my full-time sort of work, I guess you call it, even though it's not really work because I'm just being a big kid messing about, sitting at my desk, making and building things. And obviously over the years, it has progressed into a case of I now get sent free stuff. I love free stuff. And yet, who doesn't love free stuff? Well, definitely this guy. This guy loves free stuff. And I've been sent a variety of things in those years to try. And I recently received something which is just nuts. That for one, you can actually have one of these and use it at home. And two, they will send it to me to use because, yeah, I think we all know I'm a plug and play kind of guy. Maybe only in my early 20s, I was a bit more savvy and a bit more technically minded. I think as the years have gone on, I've definitely turned into yeah, I need to plug it in, turn a button on, and it's working. This thing I'm about to show you, there's a bit more to it. Not saying it's impossible, but yeah, you definitely need to be a bit more savvy with the likes of this. And what am I talking about? Let's take a look. It's over there. This is the Carvera Air desktop CNC machine. And yet this is something I've never ever had before. So those initial clips, obviously, yeah, they weren't mine because, well, I use everything in my living room. And it's this. It's a gorgeous bit of kit. Extremely heavy, though, guys. When you get this out of the box, it may take two of you. So I've never, ever used one of these. But this one does look rather fantastic. And this is fully made. So in a way, it's kind of plug and play because there's no building of anything. It is a case of taking it out of the box, plugging in a few, obviously, the wires at the back to power and connect to your machine or PC, and then yeah, you turn it on. So I'm going to show you. Obviously, these are examples. These are on their website. The amount of things this thing can do is awesome. Obviously, in the likes of my hands, yeah, maybe not so much. So we are going to start with some basic stuff for me. But again, this is a decent piece of kit. The applications it can do are varied. Say for me, I'm just going to try a few sort of relief things. One thing I will say now, guys, obviously I'm going to leave all the links to the Carvera Air machine down below, made by Makera. I'm also going to leave some links to Faux Hammer. Obviously a lovely chap over there called Ross. He has done a video on this. I mean, he says he's a complete noob. But unlike me, he's a noob with intelligence. Yeah, he's got the know-how and smarts to operate a lot of machines that I can't. So this does come with a good manual to read through. But as you guys know, I am very much a plug and play kind of guy. I think it's as I've got older, I almost rely on more things to be able to operate themselves. I don't know if I'd had this about 10 years or more ago, it would have been a big difference to how I've got used to it or got on with it now. But so you'll be able to see what's coming up. So I say this stuff, it does come with a whole variety of, well, it's examples in the book, but it also comes with all the different kind of materials you need to do the examples. And obviously this is a great showcase of, well, its versatility in the fact it can be used on woods, metals, PCB boards, and yeah, just about anything really. I've never ever thought about having one of these, but obviously Makera reached out to me. So this video is sponsored by them, so thank you for that. But as always, guys, yeah, I'm never given anything to say. Yeah, it is just purely my words and my waffle. So to say, I've gone through the example, mainly because I've never used one of these before. So the example booklet, yeah, very easy to follow. And I say I'm going to go for a relief sort of example. So it's basically going to etch into this material, well, an image, or a 3D image at that. So say everything went together really easy. As you can see, yeah, I've been following this step-by-step guide. So that's onto that bit, and it's got a little probe that comes out and measures the height of things, which is pretty cool. And yet to change the bits can't be any simpler. You just put this little lever down, your bit sort of pops out, and then you pop in the next one. So I say that, honestly, guys, to use this is simple. You'll see what bit stumbles me later, and it's kind of the software really. But yeah, so with the example, it is just a case of connecting the machine up. I've connected mine via a USB lead. Obviously, you could do Wi-Fi, but I've done the lead. And then it is a case of going into the examples folder. So this is all comes with the machine. So it does come with an absolute ton of stuff to get you up and running and going and say to be able to try out these examples if you are a complete novice and noob like myself. So I've opened up the example, and then we can obviously zoom in so we can see more of what it looks like. And as I say, this is obviously the relief, and as you can see, yeah, there's a pirate ship there. Kind of obviously looks a little bit weird, but obviously this is all the code down the left-hand side that tells the drill bit sort of the speed, height, where to move up and down, all the rest of it. So that blue line there is obviously where the drill bit is going to be. And so there's only a few bits you need to change on this actual bit. Again, this is going through the examples guide bit, clicking on a few things. And the main thing here is obviously to make sure this knows where your, well, in this case, a piece of wood is going to be located, and to make sure it doesn't obviously hit any of those things that are keeping the wood in, well, securely in position. So yeah, just change a few little bits and you'll soon see, yeah, so that green bit box has moved down. That's obviously my bit of wood, or kind of, obviously not wood in this case. Not too sure what this material is. I need to look it up. Really. And then, yeah, push a button and away it goes. So this bit is really good. Obviously, say this bit is what's telling the machine to sort of do the speeds, the up and down, the distances, all the rest. One thing I will say here is, yeah, I needed to sort out some sort of extraction fan on this. There is a port at the back. You can obviously locate or put a suction device of some sort. I know I have seen some people use hoovers. Unfortunately, mine didn't have anything resembling what I could use to sort of go onto the port at the back to suck up all these bits that come off. So one big difference I would say between this and obviously a 3D printer, other than the fact obviously this takes away whereas a 3D printer makes something, and that is I wouldn't want to leave this to sort of work on its own. I know with 3D printers, you walk away, the worst that's going to happen is where you're going to come back to a mess, as in it's not going to 3D print. I think with this, because they say this is a proper bit of kit with things that are spinning around rather fast, yeah, possibly wouldn't want to sort of walk away and just leave this on its own device. And the good thing with this is obviously it does a couple of passes. So the first pass is what's called a rough pass. So it uses a bigger tool. And the good thing here is obviously it stops automatically. A prompt pops up to say, well, change the tool over. So nothing's going to happen now until obviously I press a few buttons for it to start off. And so this is where I'm going to have a bit of a cleanup, as well as seeing just exactly what it's done. So I do like to video what's going on, but this one, because of the fact I didn't have a proper sort of extracting sort of thing in place, obviously everything that's been cut away is just sitting around. Obviously that's not impeded its ability to carry on cutting. It's pretty cool. So this is what we've got so far, and yeah, as you can see, it's a bit of a dog's dinner. But say that's a rough pass first. So I can now change the tool and then click on confirm, and it will sort of get going again. And again, changing the tool real easy. So once you do it on the screen there, you then push the button on the top, which is good because it means it won't sort of again start without you sort of being there to do something. So it's got smaller drill bits in it now, and this is where it's going to do much more finer passes. And this is obviously where it's going to get all the intricate details sort of put in, which is pretty cool. As I say, guys, I've heard of CNC machines. I knew what they sort of were. I've never really sort of seen one in action, and I've certainly never ever used one. So definitely a first time for me. And like a lot of things that are new, it could be a big learning curve. And I say you'll see coming up what I mean by learning curve for me. But say using the example, yeah, everything went smoothly, and how it should have done. So it took a reasonable amount of time to do this. But one thing I like about this is the fact you can carve into metals and stuff, which I think would be, say, for the next thing I'm making, which is going to be a shield. Yeah, if that had been in metal, that'd have been awesome. So one rookie mistake, I didn't put one of these bits of wood underneath, which means I can't do the last stage, which is actually cutting this thing out, because the tool bit will go right down and might go into the rubber base there. So I stopped before the last section. Again, a prompt come up on the screen saying change the tool bit, and it would go to a tool bit which would then cut this thing out. But say, because I haven't got that bit of wood at the bottom, so again, this is where I kind of show how newbie I am. Even though I was following the instructions, and in the instructions, it does say put that bit of wood at the bottom just as a protection. I kind of didn't. But this is what we've got come out. Say that last pass would have cut this away from the thing completely, so it would have been completely standalone. But the detail in this, so especially when obviously saw that that halfway point after the first bit of the rough pass, to then go on to doing the final pass with all this intricate detail is, yeah, I was pretty blown away. So with all my excitement of getting the test one out of the way, I've gone on good old Thingiverse, somewhere I go a lot to get stuff because, well, it's free and someone else has made all this wonderful stuff. I had a little look. I say quite a lot of good things here. So I was a little spoilt for choice on what I wanted to do as my own sort of project. But yeah, I do like Harry Potter. So obviously I've gone back up to the Harry Potter shields. And that's what obviously I'm going to have a go at doing myself. So this was a case of obviously getting the file, downloading it onto your PC and all that. And then say we'll go into this other software. Say the Carvera Air comes with two different softwares. One, as you just seen, is the one that you sort of use when you've got the G code and you can just send it to the machine. It does all the cutting. So this is a bit of wood that I've got. Very cheap wood. Yeah, for some reason, it's very difficult to get some decent wood in the UK without spending an absolute shed load of money on a small item. So this is the software that I am now using. And this is the Makera Cam software. And this is where I really suddenly started to realize I was kind of out of my depth in not knowing what to do. So the first thing obviously you need to do was just to import or open up the file that I've got. As you can see the relief there. So yeah, this is the shield. This is how it looks. And this is obviously how I want it to look and, well, be carved out of that chunk of wood. So this is the big difference between this and 3D printers. I can't just click a button and it slice it and do everything for me. This is where, yeah, you need to start using a bit of your own brain and tell it what it needs to do. Again, this is one of these things that I reckon I could have done easily a few years ago, but now I really have become old, I'm lazy, and I want things to do things themselves. So, I mean, you go through this, there's not too many things to change, but there's enough. So one of them, obviously, well, a big one, tools, and you can add tools. For some reason, the capture software I've got doesn't show all the listed tools. I mean, this device, I think it came with about 20 or 30 extra tool bits, all varieties, shapes, sizes, all the rest of it. But you've also got to go down here, all these little ones here, and you've got to sort of tell it what sort of speed to go, what depth to go, how fast to go, and a whole variety of other things that I don't even know what they mean. So I attempted to watch several other videos, still to no avail. I think this is where I really need someone to come round, sit and go through each one of these items, tell me what they do, and then I'd be okay. Again, guys, go check out Ross over at Fohammer. Gives a much more descriptive sort of version of what to do and how to do things. Even though he says he's a noob, yeah, he's definitely more of a technically minded noob than myself. So my wood's in. I did cheat here, guys. This is where those lovely people over at Makera really are very nice, very easy to talk to, and they kindly did all the work here for me, so I could get this shield done. So this is definitely something that I would need to have a good few months with, go through and do a lot of testing. Again, this is where I think you learn by doing testing, a few little mistakes here and there, and then yeah, I reckon give me a few months, and this software definitely won't be as sort of intimidating as it is. Again, it's a learning curve for most things. Yeah, I'm just old and lazy now, guys. What can I say? But say, lovely chaps over at Makera got me all sorted, and yeah, I was able to then get the G code, go through with the other software, and yeah, I was about to sort of do the relief and get something made. Again, I know I keep plugging him here, but Ross over at Fohammer, this does come with a 4-axis device, so you can actually carve into cylindrical things and make, well, miniatures. And that's exactly what he did. He's made some miniatures out of wood, which is just incredible. I say the amount of applications this thing can do if you knew what you were doing. And this does obviously come with the laser as well. So if you want to do laser cutting or laser engraving, it can do all that kind of wonderful stuff as well. So again, this does do the 2 passes. It does the rough cut first, and then goes on to do a nice smoother one. And again, yeah, this is where I definitely need to have some sort of thing set up at the back to sort of suck up all this, all these wood shavings. So yeah, it's a little bit messy, but again, the good thing is they're all on the top. I can get me over out and just suck all this stuff up. So again, this is the first pass. It's going to look like a bit of a dog's dinner again, because it is that second pass with a finer tool bit that really does sort of get all the intricate details put in. And as you can see, yeah, I've put the bit of wood at the bottom this time, although you'll soon see I made another mistake. Yeah, I'll tell you that in a minute because it's going to come up very soon. Again, so yeah, you can see definitely the first rough pass, obviously taken out a lot of wood, but yeah, not a lot of detail in there. And again, I mean, I must admit, the actual machine itself is awesome. It definitely is made for people like me, first time users. Say, changing the bit couldn't be any simpler. The actual device itself, well built, well made, and just looks the nuts. Unfortunately, it had me as the operator, and in this case, yeah, operator error, yeah, tenfold. So yeah, this time I could see obviously a lot better what was going on because there wasn't as much sort of dust and debris. I say if I had the exhaust thing sort of set up so it was sucking out every last little bit, yeah, you could do probably a really decent time lapse with this thing. So it did its merry business. Did all the engraving, relief work, all the rest of it. And as you can see here, the problem I've got is it didn't go right through to the bottom. And why is that, you say? Yeah, operator error. When the lovely people at Makera sent me the G code, they told me what drill bits I needed to use, as well as what size bit of wood. Yeah, unfortunately, I had already bought this bit of wood, couldn't find the right size wood they were talking about, so I thought, yeah, I'll just still go ahead with this, it'll be fine. Obviously, I completely forgot that obviously the last pass again on this is the one that actually cuts it out, so it doesn't go down deep enough. So my trusty little hacksaw and a little bit of elbow grease. Yeah, I've gone round, cut the thing out, and this is what I've got. Primed it in black, did a bit of dry brushing with copper, and absolutely love this. So the fact that this thing, the depth this thing can go into, is just awesome. I say it just needs someone a bit better operating it than myself. Again, guys, all links down below is giving you a whole lot more information about this machine, where you can see other people that know what they're doing with it as well. So come back in 3 months' time and I'll be CNCing little miniatures. Well, maybe not. Anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that good stuff. You take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.